In every step of your life, remember this simple truth: your strength alone will never be enough. The world may offer you achievements, fame, and comfort, but none of it will satisfy the deepest hunger of your soul. That fulfillment comes only when you put God first. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you think about? Is it your goals, your work, your responsibilities? Or is it the one who gave you the breath in your lungs? When you put God first, everything else begins to fall into place. That doesn't mean life becomes easy, but it means you walk through it with purpose, with clarity, and with a peace that no material success can offer. So many people chase after things, only to find themselves empty when they get them. Money fades, popularity fades, even our health and time are temporary. But there's something eternal that you were created for. You weren't made to just survive. You were made to live in relationship with the one who made you. And when you align your life with him, when you seek him first, everything else finds its proper place. There's nothing wrong with ambition, with striving for greatness, with wanting to make something of your life. In fact, those desires were placed inside you for a reason. But the moment you put them above the one who gave them to you, you lose your way. You start building on shaky ground. And when the storms come, and they always come, you'll realize how fragile that foundation really is. But when you build your life with God at the center, when he becomes your anchor, you'll be unshakable. You may still face pain, you may still walk through disappointment, but you'll never be alone, and you'll never be without hope. Putting God first isn't just about Sunday mornings or occasional prayers. It's about making him the foundation of your decisions, your relationships, your dreams, your entire life. It's about trusting him when things don't make sense and praising him when they do. It's about knowing that no matter what the world says about success, real success is living in alignment with your Creator. So today, ask yourself, what are you putting first? Your career? Your image? Your fears? Or are you putting first the one who knows your future, who sees your worth, and who loves you unconditionally? Because when you put God first, everything else falls into its rightful place. True fulfillment comes from putting God first, not from worldly success or material gain. Many people spend their entire lives chasing after achievements, titles, money, recognition, comfort, thinking that once they reach a certain point, they'll finally feel satisfied. But time and time again, even those who appear to have it all come to realize that something is still missing. That sense of emptiness isn't a result of not having enough. It's a sign that what they've been filling their lives with can't meet the deepest need of the soul. We were created for more than just success by human standards. There's a part of us that can't be filled with things, attention, or accomplishments. It can only be filled with a relationship with God. When he is not at the center, everything else starts to feel hollow, no matter how impressive it looks from the outside. You can have all the right things, but without God, you won't have peace. You won't have that lasting joy that sustains you when life gets hard. Putting God first redefines success. It shifts the focus from what we can get to who we are becoming. It's no longer just about building a name or securing a lifestyle. It's about living with meaning, purpose, and eternal perspective. You begin to realize that true greatness isn't measured by the size of your bank account or the number of people who admire you, but by the strength of your character and the depth of your faith. When you prioritize your relationship with God, everything else starts to come into alignment. Not always perfectly or immediately, but over time, your values, your choices, and your direction start to reflect something deeper. You begin to understand that your worth doesn't come from your performance, but from your identity as someone created and deeply loved by God. That changes how you handle success, how you deal with failure, and how you treat others along the way. Putting God first is not about rejecting ambition. It's about surrender. It's trusting that whatever you do, if he's at the center, it has meaning beyond the moment. And in that surrender, you find something the world can never offer. Peace that doesn't depend on your circumstances, and purpose that doesn't fade when the applause stops. Starting your day with God sets the tone for a purpose-driven life. The way you begin your morning has a powerful effect on how the rest of your day unfolds. Most people wake up and immediately reach for their phones, scrolling through notifications, emails, social media, and news. Right from the moment they open their eyes, their minds are filled with noise, comparison, pressure, and distraction. It becomes easy to start the day feeling behind, anxious, or overwhelmed before even getting out of bed. But when you choose to begin your day with God, everything changes. It's not about following a rigid routine or spending hours in silence. It's about choosing in those first quiet moments to acknowledge who's really in control. It's about aligning your heart with something greater than yourself before stepping into the chaos of the world. Whether it's a short prayer, reading scripture, or simply sitting in silence with a grateful heart, that intentional pause invites clarity and peace into your day. It reminds you that no matter what's on your schedule, you don't walk through it alone. When you start your day focused on God, you become more aware of how you respond to life's challenges. You carry a different energy into your conversations, your decisions, and your responsibilities. You're less reactive and more grounded. Instead of striving to control every outcome, you begin to trust that God is working even in the unseen detail. Your confidence stops being based on how prepared you feel and starts being rooted in who walks with you. It's not that starting your day with God will make everything go perfectly. You'll still face difficulties, setbacks, and unexpected moments. But your perspective will be different. You won't just be reacting to life. You'll be responding with wisdom, faith, and calm. You'll be reminded that your identity isn't tied to what you produce, but to the presence of the one who created you. Making God your first thought each day is a small choice that has a huge impact. It's like adjusting your compass before a long journey. Even a slight shift in direction at the start can take you to a completely different destination. And when that direction is set by God, you can trust that where you're going has meaning, even if you can't see every step yet. Ambition is good, but it must be grounded in faith to have lasting value. Wanting to achieve great things, to build a meaningful life, to leave a mark on the world, those desires aren't wrong. In fact, they're part of how you were designed. You were created with potential, with gifts, with dreams that are meant to be pursued, but without the right foundation, even the biggest accomplishments can feel empty. Ambition on its own can lead to pride, burnout, comparison, and a constant sense of never being enough. Ambition rooted in faith brings purpose, balance, and peace. When your ambition is grounded in faith, your motivation changes. You're not just striving for success to prove something or to gain recognition. You're moving in alignment with something bigger than yourself. You begin to ask, how can I use what I've been given to serve, to uplift, to make a difference? Your goals become more than just personal milestones. They become part of a larger mission. You're not climbing a ladder just to be seen. You're building something that reflects the values and vision God has placed in your heart. Faith anchors your ambition in humility. It reminds you that your talents, your opportunities, your drive, they're all gifts. You didn't create them on your own, and they're not meant for your glory alone. When you understand that, your work becomes an act of worship. Whether you're creating, leading, building, or serving, you do it with excellence, not to elevate yourself, but to honor the one who made you. And that mindset changes everything. There's also a deep strength that comes from ambition rooted in faith. Because when you hit obstacles, and you will, you won't be so quick to give up or doubt your worth. You'll understand that delay doesn't mean denial, and setbacks aren't the end of the story. You'll keep pushing forward, not just because you believe in your dream, but because you trust the one guiding it. Ambition isn't the enemy of faith. It becomes powerful when shaped by it. When you trust God with your goals, He doesn't make your dreams smaller. He gives them eternal significance. He takes what you offer and multiplies it in ways you couldn't have imagined. And in the process, you're not just chasing success. You're becoming the kind of person who can carry it well. Without God, you're building your life on a fragile foundation that won't withstand life's storms. On the surface, everything might look strong. Your career might be thriving, your relationships might appear solid, your future might seem mapped out. But when the foundation beneath it all is unstable, even the slightest shake can cause everything to crumble. Life has a way of testing what we're really standing on. Sooner or later, we all face moments of loss, disappointment, betrayal, or uncertainty. And when those moments come, what you've built your life on will either hold you up or collapse underneath you. Many people build their lives on things that seem reliable: money, success, popularity, even personal strength or intelligence. But all of those things can change in an instant. Markets crash, jobs end, people walk away, plans fall apart. And when your sense of worth and identity are wrapped up in things that are constantly shifting, so is your peace. You live on edge, always trying to keep everything from falling apart, always feeling like it could all disappear tomorrow. But when God is your foundation, everything changes. His presence is unshakable. His promises are unchanging. His love is constant. When the storms come, and they will, you're not thrown into chaos because you're standing on something deeper than circumstances. You have a source of strength that doesn't dry up. You have a hope that doesn't depend on how well things are going. You have an anchor that holds even when the winds of life blow hard. It doesn't mean you won't feel the pressure. It doesn't mean the storm won't hurt, but it does mean you won't be destroyed by it. You'll have a sense of peace that doesn't make sense to the world because it's not rooted in this world. It's rooted in the one who holds the world in his hands. That's the difference between surviving life storms and growing through them. Building your life on God is a daily choice. It's deciding that no matter what happens, you will trust Him. It's choosing to build your values, your identity, and your future on something eternal rather than temporary. And that choice doesn't just make life more stable, it makes it meaningful. Because when God is your foundation, what you build with your life won't just stand the test of time. It will echo into eternity. Putting God first means trusting Him fully in decisions, dreams, and difficulties. It's easy to say we trust God, but the real test of that trust shows up in how we live our daily lives. When things are going well, it's natural to feel confident and in control. But true trust shows up when the path is uncertain, when answers don't come quickly, and when we're faced with choices that stretch our faith. To put God first is to surrender the need to control every outcome and instead believe that He sees the bigger picture we cannot. Trusting God in your decisions means inviting Him into your thought process, not just as a last resort when you're stuck, but as your first guide. It's praying before planning. It's being willing to slow down and wait for clarity, even when pressure is pushing you to rush. It's recognizing that His wisdom is greater than your own. And sometimes the doors He closes are just as important as the ones He opens. When God is first, success is not defined by how quickly you move, but by how aligned you are with His will. When it comes to dreams, putting God first means holding them with open hands. We all have goals we want to achieve, passions we want to pursue, and things we hope for. But sometimes what we want and what God knows is best are not the same. Trusting Him means being willing to let go of your timeline and your plan, believing that His timing and purpose are always. It means that even if a dream takes longer than you expected or looks completely different than you imagined, you stay rooted in faith, knowing He's working in the waiting. And then there are the difficulties, the valleys, the moments where life feels unfair, where pain lingers, where nothing makes sense. That's when trusting God gets real. It's choosing to believe that He's still good even when your circumstance. It's continuing to pray when you don't see results. It's standing firm when everything around you feels shaky. It's declaring with your life, I don't know how, but I trust you anyway. Putting God first isn't just about giving Him your praise when things go right. It's about giving Him your heart when things don't. It's living with a deep, quiet confidence that no matter what comes, you're not navigating life alone. You're walking with the one who knows the end from the beginning, Real success is living in alignment with your Creator, not just achieving external goals. The world has a way of measuring success by numbers. How much money you have, how many followers you've gained, how many awards you've collected. But those things, while impressive on the surface, don't always reflect what's happening on the inside. You can look successful to everyone else and still feel lost, anxious, and unfulfilled. You can reach every goal you've ever set and still feel like something is missing. That's because success isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about who you become in the process. When you live in alignment with God, your definition of success shifts. It's no longer about chasing applause. It's about walking in purpose. It's about living with integrity, with peace, with a sense of calling that doesn't fade when the spotlight does. You begin to realize that the most important victories often happen in the quiet, when you choose forgiveness over revenge, patience over pride, humility over recognition. You realize that the things that matter most aren't always seen by others, but they are seen by God. Alignment with your Creator means living in step with the values He's placed in your heart: kindness, truth, faithfulness, love, discipline. It means making choices that honor Him even when they cost you something in the moment. It means being consistent in your character whether anyone's watching or not. And over time, that kind of living produces a life that's solid, meaningful, and deeply impactful. It doesn't always look flashy, but it lasts. When you're aligned with God, you're not constantly striving to prove yourself. You're operating from a place of security, knowing you're already loved, already chosen, already valuable. That truth gives you freedom to work hard without being driven by fear, to dream big without being crushed by failure, and to serve others without needing credit. You begin to realize that the highest kind of success is not in building a life that impresses people, but one that pleases God. And here's the beautiful part. When you live that way, you don't just find success, you find peace, you find clarity, you find joy. Because you're not just moving forward aimlessly, you're walking in step with the one who made you. And there's no greater fulfillment, no deeper reward than knowing you're living the life you were created for. That is true success, and that is why you put God first.